Welcome to the Adelphi Theatre. Now, there's been a theatre on this site for, well, over 250 years. But more importantly, this particular Art Deco gem opened way back in 1930. And the big opening show was a huge musical star of the time, none other than the wonderful Miss Jessie Matthews. And she was starring in Evergreen. It was a phenomenal success and of course gave this present theatre a colossal run of hits, including one by none other than the wonderful Noel Coward. Now, the current production here is the smash hit musical Kinky Boots. It's a gem of a show, let me tell you. A lot of fun, and of course stars the very gorgeous girls Oliver Tomset, with music by none other than 80s legend, the girl that just wants to have fun, the wonderful Miss Cyndi Lauper. The theatre also is currently managed in conjunction with another company by the legend that is Andrew Lloyd Webber. Now, this particular theatre holds a lot of memories for me, including one for Sunset Boulevard, which I've got a great affection, and also another secret, but more about that later. Now, this theatre is rich in history, and as I say, if you're a fan of the aforementioned Jessie Matthews, there's even a bar named after her here at the theatre. But what about some of the greats that have appeared here? Well, there's so many. What we can tell you, of course, is one of our very favourite British BBC comedy stars made a mega smash hit here in, of course, 1955. We're talking about Right Monkey? Oh yes, Mr. Al Reid. Now, it was Al's sort of big London debut. He was a huge Lancastrian star who shot to fame in the early 50s on the BBC hit Variety Bandbox. His sort of patter really was to pick on everyday life, and the title of the show, of course, was Such Is Life. Now, the show was a mega smash, but Al himself had, shall we say, a bit of a formidable character. While he played the everyman on radio and on stage, he was very dapper off stage and had something of an ego. In fact, most of his clothes came from the Savoy Tailors Guild across the road. But there was one other star in that particular show that was a huge success. A lady who's become a showbiz legend and something of a British entertainment icon. We're talking, of course, the mega marvellous Miss Dame Shirley Bassey. Now, Dame Shirley Bassey appeared in the show simply because someone else dropped out, and she was given this wonderful opportunity, and boy did she make the most of it. But here's where it gets really interesting, because in those days, way back in the 50s, stars just didn't appear in big shows. There were stars in their shows, but then once the show had finished, they went off to do cabaret in venues like the Savoy Hotel, the Mayfair Hotel, and other venues around town, which of course went on way past the midnight hour. This was very lucrative, not just for the artiste, but of course the agent. When we talk agents and managers, another guy here that shone brightly was another favourite of mine, Mr. Jack Hilton. Now, we knew Jack Hilton, of course, as a band leader, but around this time, along with ATV, he decided to take on the mighty world of the emerging television market. In 1955, television was really emerging. We'd had the BBC, of course, from 1936, which closed down for the war. But in 1955, ATV, headed by another impresario, Lou Grade, really took hold of the regions. Now, one of the people that Lou went to try and develop TV shows for us to watch was of course the impresario Jack Hilton. He was brilliant at putting great shows together in all the coastal resorts like Blackpool, Scarborough, and of course taking shows on the road. But the thing is, Jack didn't really understand about TV, and his idea of making TV was to put cameras in the side boxes and simply point them at a play or a variety show. This really didn't take off, and it was one of the few failures really in the Hilton dynasty. And lots of shows were beamed here at the Adelphi Theatre around the country. Lots of people were quite excited, of course, to see inside a working theatre. But as we now know, the one person that got it right was the wonderful Mr. Val Parnell, who created, of course, Sunday Night at the London Palladium and made variety a success in the homes of everyone in the UK. As for Jack, he retreated back from TV and decided basically to focus on what he knew best, which was putting on spectacular shows that everyone wanted to go and see. The Adelphi Theatre has had so many big hits. As aforementioned, Sunset Boulevard opened here as a world premiere, and it was a spectacular show. And of course, with the beautiful Art Deco interior of the Adelphi, it really lent itself well to the mad person that we all adore, Norma Desmond. I saw many Normas here. In fact, I saw Elaine Page, Rita Moreno, amongst, of course, others, including Petula Clark. Now, one of my favourite stars that I met here and spent quite a lot of time with was the Hollywood legend Jerry Lewis. He came here to star in Damn Yankees, and I was told that I had to go backstage and interview him. Naturally, a little bit nervous. Well, 4 hours later, I emerged out of this stage door after he revealed everything about his life. Of course, he was a legend. He told me that quite a few times. And he was a brilliant guy, a very funny and very clever guy. But he also told me about his relationship with the one and only Dean Martin. Now, Dean Martin, of course, and Jerry Lewis were big stars of Paramount Pictures. Now, Jerry told me one of the reasons why he wanted to return to London was simply this. When they turned up in the late 50s to star at, of course, the world famous London Palladium, the Ace Variety Theatre, they hadn't gone down particularly well. Well, they liked Dean singing, but they didn't totally get, in his mind, of course, the Jerry Lewis comedy. He claims, in fact, that they actually went better at the Glasgow Empire. But Jerry rectified all of that, of course, with a sparkling success here on stage at the Adelphi. Other big shows, of course, have been Joseph and his amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, amongst many more. Now, one star, of course, that really everybody has almost forgotten about now, which was a huge star way back in the 1930s, was the one and only Miss Jessie Matthews. Now, as I said, the bar here is already named after her, and to a lot of young people today, it's kind of Jessie who. Now, she was, as I say, a huge megastar, starring in film, stage, and then latterly in radio. Who could forget, of course, her starring turn in the radio programme Mrs. Dale's Diary. It was a huge success for her and a nice finale for a career that saw Jessie become the #1 sheet music selling star with big hits like Evergreen and Over My Shoulder. She really did rival Ginger Rogers as a superb dancer and singer, and was something, of course, also of a rare beauty. If you want to come and check out yourself this wonderful theatre, the Adelphi, it's based in the Strand and it has got a beautiful Art Deco interior. It really is atmospheric and one of our very lovely theatre gems here in London. Until next time, I'm Neil Sean. I'll see you soon.